Oil Pastels with Caitlin. Today we will be going over different brands and blending techniques for oil pastels. First, let's start off with the brands. The first brand we will be covering is the Portfolio Water-Soluble Oil Pastels, and you can get a pack of 12 for around $5. They're one of the cheaper oil pastel sets on the market, and they're usually just for classrooms and just your average student quality oil pastels. I tend to use these for larger works if I need to cover a large amount of area and I don't want to waste money using some of the nicer oil pastels. I'll just grab a box of these. For being such a cheap brand, they actually do spread pretty nicely, so I find them easy to work with. The next brand we'll be covering is the Van Gogh oil pastels. I only have a few of these. They're around $1 to $2 each if you buy them separately. They're normally a harder oil pastel. They're not as creamy as some of the other brands, but they're still like student grade, so they're cheap enough and easy to work with. The next is Sennelier oil pastels, and they run around $3 to $5 each, depending on the size and where you get them. They're top-of-the-line oil pastels. They're the best brand on the market, according to a lot of people. And they're one of the most famous brands, too. They're really creamy. A lot of people compare them to lipstick as far as, like, a creamy, kind of glossy feel to them. They're super easy to work with, but they are generally tinier than a lot of oil pastels. You don't really get a lot for your money. So you want to work with these in very small or detailed areas. That way you don't waste money on them. And the last one is my favorite. They are Mungayo Gallery Artist Soft Oil Pastels. I have a box of 48 of them, and they generally cost $40 nowadays. And they're by far the best brand I've worked with. They're cheap enough where I can still get a large box of them with a variety of colors, but they also have the smooth, creamy feeling of Sennelier and other high-quality oil pastels. We have our scraper tools, which will be used for subtraction. If we go over layers of oil pastel and we want to take some away, that's what we'll use them for. Then we have our color shapers. They're generally used for shaping clay, so if you look in an art store, that's probably where you'll find them. They look just like normal paintbrushes, except they have a rubber head to them, and that makes it really easy for you to push around oil pastels with them. You can get some really sharp lines, unlike using like your finger or another type of blender. And the oil pastel rubs right off of them. It's not absorbed into the brush at all, so it's super easy for you to erase. I have 5 of them that I bought for $10, and they've lasted me around 3 years, and they show no signs of wearing out anytime soon. Next up is the tortillon or paper blender. I think I have about 20 of them. Normally I have around 5 on me at all times, just in case. And unlike the color shapers, these will absorb the colors that you blend with. So as you can see in the picture, I have one with a blue head, one with a purple head. I have one that I only use for grayscale drawing. And they also come in a variety of sizes. So I find them very easy to work with. They're super cheap. You can get a set of 5 for around $4 or $5. So that's why I have so many. And they're a perfect tool for beginners who are just starting out. first tools I used to blend oil pastels when I was just starting out would be my fingers. So, blending again from light to dark. I feel like I have more control using my fingers to blend. And plus it's more fun because it's messy, although you do have to watch where you put your hands on the paper. As you can see, it's harder for me to blend these with my fingers. The pastel is not spreading as easily as I would want it to. First you start off with a set of lighter colors. This one I'm going to use a light blue and a periwinkle. And I usually use multiple colors. That way it doesn't have a flat look. You can get a gradient effect with it. As long as you have all the white space covered, that's all we're really looking for here. So next we're going to take a series of darker colors and we're going to put them on top of them. I'm going to choose an indigo, and I treat it just like I would any other scratch board. I can get some finer details, I can crosshatch, and I'll show you one example of work I did in this technique. So this is a piece I created with Mungayo Gallery Oil Pastels, and obviously, as you can tell, it's a subtraction piece. I started out by lightly blending aqua and white, and once I had blended that out, then I did another coat using navy and black. And I think for this piece I mostly used the shovel-headed scraper, especially for the larger areas like the road and the sky. And then for some of the finer details in the building, like the columns, I used the arrow-headed scraper. The Oil Pastel Society has some great artists on it that will definitely inspire you. Some of my personal favorite oil pastel artists are Stephanie Neely, who works mostly with Sennelier, and Mona Majorowicz, who uses oil pastels to make beautiful animal art. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope the techniques we covered in this video inspire you to become an oil pastel artist. Bye!